Taylor Wimpey's plan for a new town at Three Farms Meadow near Wisley is perhaps the most disastrously misconceived and destructive development ever proposed anywhere in the UK. Here's how it will affect you.
Over 150 acres of prime agricultural land will be wiped out. That's enough land to produce the wheat for around 1 million loaves of bread every year. This area is so vital for nature that it has been designated a special protection area, an important bird area, and a local nature reserve. Even though these can't be built on, the town and its construction work will devastate them. Vital wildlife habitats will be turned into rubble, weeds, and litter. To make its profit from the space that is left, Taylor Wimpey plans to cram the site with crowded multi-story blocks. Its fields will be filled with buildings packed more densely than central London. The knock-on effects will be huge. Right now, this area has none of the transport or amenities of central London. No schools with space for the children. No health facilities, no buses, no shops, none of the things that make life possible. Taylor Wimpey claims that all these facilities will be provided, but it won't build or pay for them. Residents at other Taylor Wimpey developments say that facilities it promised were never delivered. Their promises are simply a way to get permission for unsustainable developments. Developers plan to build over 2,100 homes in the new town, which will mean over 3,000 extra cars. Together, they will drive 21.5 million miles every year, mostly on dangerous local roads that can't cope, producing 15,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. But there's worse. The latest research shows that toxic particles from tires and braking are a huge threat to health, as well as a major source of freshwater contamination and ocean plastics. These extra cars will put 1.7 million grams of toxic particles in the air from their tires alone, generating over 1 trillion tiny particles for every mile driven. Plans to add speed bumps around the development make the problem much worse. Authoritative studies show that the braking and tire impacts at road humps create 5 times more pollution than normal driving, filling the air with almost 10 tons of toxic particles. That would be bad anywhere. But this isn't anywhere. This is the Thames Basin Heath, Special Protection Area, home to some of our rarest species. Three Farms Meadow is right next to Ockham and Wisley Common and Chadley Heath, places so vital to our national wildlife that they have been designated sites of special scientific interest. This precious heathland habitat is now rarer than rainforest, and in even greater need of protection. Aquatic life is particularly vulnerable. These are nationally important sites for dragonflies and damselflies, and for rare birds like the hobby which feed on them. Immediately to the west is RHS Wisley, which attracts over 1 million visitors every year. Legal air quality limits are already being breached as the M25 and A3 meet nearby. Toxic particles will fill the air and blanket the ground. We all know the danger to our lungs from breathing them, but superfine tire particles create a carcinogenic dust, small enough to enter any organ of the body via the bloodstream. They're lethal to wildlife, and a threat to us all. We all love our dogs and cats, but a development of this size will be home to over 2,000 of them. Their impact on local wildlife will be huge. What will that do to the protected local populations of rare ground nesting birds such as the nightjar, Dartford warbler, and woodlark? By the 1960s, there were just 10 breeding pairs of Dartford warblers in the UK. It's less than 10 years since they returned to Ockham Heath. Now this development could wipe them out here again. The local lanes are narrow, twisting, and full of dangerous blind corners. There are too many accidents even now. Taylor Wimpey has found a way to make them even more lethal. They know all the extra cars are a major issue, so they plan to make roads single track with passing spaces to squeeze in a cycle lane. But there will still be thousands of extra cars. This isn't central London. These are country lanes where you can't see what's coming around the next bend. Cars will meet each other on corners with no way to avoid collisions. They will be forced into cyclists. There will be accidents, and lives will be lost. The water treatment plants at Wisley and Ripley are already at maximum capacity. Sewer systems will fail, polluting key water supplies. Even before the new town is built, they will have to cope with the effluent from another 1,500 homes, which have already been approved within 5 miles of the site. And there are thousands more being built in nearby areas. The system will collapse under pressure from the new town. Waterways will be contaminated, with sewage flooding into the river system. With essential services already stretched to the limit, demand from the new town will impact on the health and welfare of people for miles around. Medical practices are already full. Dentists are already refusing new patients. Waiting times at Royal Surrey Hospital are a serious problem. Pensioners may not live long enough to get to the front of the queue for geriatric care. The development poses a unique threat to aviation. The site is home to the OC-VOR radio beacon, which is vital for the safety of flights into Heathrow, and part of the global system which keeps skies safe for air passengers. Any nearby obstruction may block its signal. Imagine what could happen as a new town is built next to it. Is it any wonder then that when a similar application was tried in 2018, just 4 years ago, the planning inspector ruled that the appeal site is not in a sustainable location. Instead of accepting the truth, the response from developers was to persuade Guildford Borough Council to downgrade the conservation status of the site in its local plan. It's still a special protection area, an important area for birds, and a local nature reserve. They couldn't change any of that. But they have made it easier to get this appalling development approved.
In reality, nothing has changed. There's so much here worth fighting for. 170 acres of farmland, a place of great natural beauty, part of our heritage. Trees that shaded the pilots of World War II and generations before that. The clear waters of our lakes, rivers and streams. The chance to see rare and precious wildlife. There are places to build which don't destroy all this. The site will make one developer a lot of money, but cost the rest of us the earth. The disaster can still be stopped. It just needs people like us to say no. Get your objection in to Guildford Borough Council before the 3rd of October. The facts and statistics used as the basis for this video are taken from official figures, UK government statements, or robust, peer-reviewed academic studies. If we had used our own estimates, the picture would be even worse.